What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Gold Rush Weekly Watch. So, if you've been with us for the past couple of weeks, or if you've tuned in on YouTube, you might be a little frustrated with the fact that a lot of these tickers are going to be the same, right? Because just as we expected, we see a bunch of strength on multiple time frames, and so why fight the trend, right? If things are trending upward for a particular stock, then ride the wave, right? And so this is what we're doing. We're riding that wave as long as we can. So real quick before I get into the watch list for this week, let's just talk about some of the tickers. Or sorry, let's talk about what I'm seeing in overall market in SPX. So and for reference, on the bottom right you have the monthly. On the bottom left you have the weekly chart. On the top left you have the daily chart, and on the top right you have the 1 hour, right? So let's start with the month. So we have on the month so far, obviously we're still in a downtrend. We're still in this broadening down, right? Nothing much has changed since the last call. We did find support down here, and we bounced, and we're starting to form that second green candle, right? Now, I think the last time we discussed this, last week, the candle had been a little bit more fully fleshed out. Actually looked like they might have topped off right around this level right here. And you can see that right now, as of right now, there's some sell pressure right at this top of this candle, which we expected based off these zones that I drew here, right? So the monthly, we're still we still are bullish. We broke above the range, the high of this previous month. We're still up above it, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign for us. That's a good sign. Look into the weekly. On the weekly, so we had kind of uh, this big kind of igniting move. Some consolidation 3 weeks in a row, and then it kind of broke out of that consolidation, came back and tested some support, which is previous resistance, right? Resistance here, support here, and then made a nice strong move 2 weeks ago, right? This last week was really really tough to trade in because it was just like kind of sideways, kind of choppy, and indecisive, and we ended up with a red doji for the week, right? So this next week, it really depends on whether we break above the previous week's high and then last week's high to try to test that 200-day, which I think is magnetic, and this top of this falling resistance line, or do we not even try it and just come straight back down, right? After a big strong week like this with some good volume and indecision, it can go either way. It can go either way. Let's look at the daily. On a daily chart, we gapped up a couple weeks ago. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And basically what I'm seeing on Monday, Tuesday on the daily chart is that we have a double top on Monday and Wednesday. Oh, sorry, this is Monday here. We have the top from Friday and then kind of a double top formed on Tuesday. We came down, we tested the 100-day moving average. We bounced off of it, and then we formed a doji right on Friday. You could barely even see that. Crazy. Right? So really, it depends on what we want to do. I mean, we did break the downtrend here. We had 3 days of trending down, and did break it on this day, and we held it. More important, but really, we need to break above this high here, break above Thursday's high, and try to do Wednesday's. So that's what I see with SPX. Um, I'm not gonna really get into the hourly. I mean, we did hold a 20-day here a couple times. We bounced on it. We had CPI, that news that released on Thursday, that brought us up, and then we kind of held that area. We held that area for a couple. So so and there's your downtrend right there, and there's your pop above it. So now we want to see it break up above this level here, and then test this level here, and then test the high before we can see the 200. If it can't break this first level right here at 39.84 or 39.83 rather, then I think we're gonna come back down and test the 100, kind of chop. A lot of volume came in at that last candle. That's what I see with SPX. Let's get into the list. I don't have too many today, and to be honest with you, some of these are a repeat of last week only because they're still showing strength, right? And again, if you if something is showing strength, there's no reason to look elsewhere. You can continue to play where the strength is. You'll see a lot of repeat names from last week. So the first one is Walmart. Walmart, the Walmart daily chart's kind of funky looking, but the weekly chart really tells the story, right? In the month. So let's look at the monthly. Monthly's on the bottom right. So this monthly here, we see, it's just been kind of in this range for a while, right? Right. It's been in kind of this range here. It broke down below the range on June, and then in July it kind of worked its way back up into the top, into the bottom. So and now we're like approaching the we're approaching the top. We're approaching the top of the range. And so what do we do, right? I mean, I think we can get back to the level here, to this high here. I'm not so sure about this high. I want to see it get to this one first, right? I want to see it get to 150, which I think it can do. It looks like it can do it pretty easy, right? As long as it breaks above these highs here, which it looks like it has the momentum to do so. So 153.60 is my first target. The second target, I mean, if we break above that high, would be to take out this red candle. Now, this was a big bad earnings for Walmart. Gotta take this candle out, but I see full time frame continuity to the upside. Okay, yeah, and then we had indecision for 2 months straight, and then on this candle we broke up above both resistances, right? Both resistance of this month and this month and this month and this month. And we undid a lot of this candle. So, and we're continuing to do so in this month now. So, with really, really good volume as you look to the weekly. Right? So on the weekly, what I loved about this setup is that we kind of fell really hard from levels, and actually, so with Walmart, I see what I liked about it is I saw the weekly. I've been watching the weekly for since it gapped up on this day, right? That first day, or rather that Tuesday after earnings. But I didn't see a massive move out of like continuation out of that. And then that we look at every day after the gap, we see that I'll get to it in a second. So what I liked about it is it has this drop, and then it kind of based. It made a couple of higher lows, and then it formed this handle. And now it's breaking back out. It pretty much undid this entire candle. So now our next targets are obviously these previous pivots. And the weekly looks very strong to me. I mean, it's up, and then even with this consolidation, it was still forming higher highs on these three couple, okay, until we finally broke through with the positive. So going back to the daily, we saw this gap up. Even with this gap up and this crazy candle, the next 3 days are within the range of this one. Okay, so let me just go to the high. The high of this day was 150.27, and the high of Friday 150.24. So we're still stuck within this range. So it could have really, really gone anywhere. But right now, it looks like it's ready to break out above and get into like the 152, 153 area. So I really love this daily. Daily charts really cool. And then if we look at the 1 hour, you have your gap, you have your range, and then you have kind of a little bit of a price consolidation for the next couple of days until that final candle, the very, very last candle of the day, where it actually popped and went to test the high here, right? So I think Walmart's a good candidate for this week. This is actually good for that sector, right? A lot of that sector is going to benefit off of this move. This gap is completely filled now, and so now we just have to work our way into some of these pivots for Walmart. So I'm really loving Walmart, and I'm going to watch it for itself, and also the next one that I have is actually before we do that, let's go into for Walmart. Again, I'm targeting like the 153 area. So for Walmart, I mean, if you're playing weeklies, and one thing about Walmart that I know is that weeklies, and they tend to be a little, sometimes you won't get the move. It just won't move. I've experienced it where it just doesn't move, right? And especially this week, you got to be really careful because we have a short week with Thanksgiving, right? So you got to be very, very careful how you play this. 11:25 and 12. Okay. 152 50s, and then do next week 50, 50 and do next week 150. Right. Next week 155 might be the best one because you can ride that momentum. Let's just look at the price. Um, 152 50s for this week are 49 cents and 155. Right. Next week 152 50s. Yeah, the 152 50 next week are a dollar. I'll call it a $1.18, and 155. So super duper cheap. I would buy time. I'll probably be targeting this either one of these two contracts here, just because I know that Walmart sometimes, it makes these moves. And it's very rare that it does make these moves, and it's very rare that it continues to make. So buy some time, buy yourself some safety, and it should be enough for you to make some profit. Right? So that's Walmart. The next one that I have is MRK. MRK. What I love about MRK, I mean, let's start with the monthly. It's just, it's been this is all time market. Yeah, this is all time high, right? Ever since inception, started right here. So we're at all time high now for MRK with good, a nice run all these months from 2018 up to about 2020 where we got the COVID drop, and then it went sideways a bunch. It gapped up, it gapped down. But what I love about it is that it was in this range for a long, long time. Then it started to break out here. It pulled back, and now it's really breaking out. Look at all this. Look at the strength on this candle, right? Now there's not plenty of volume on it compared to like these months. I'm sure there was a COVID catalyst going on here, and I'm sure that obviously we had the COVID drop here with massive volume. But I think that it's looking strong. It picked up nicely in volume compared to the last 3 months, right? On this candle, so October's candle was a lot stronger than September, August, and July's candle. It broke up above all previous resistance, and now we're making it. So I love it for the monthly, very very strong. If we look at the weekly. Um, I had a bunch of levels drawn out here in the past. I guess I drew them back, back in these weeks, right? And so the previous resistance here, we found support on it a couple of weeks, even back here. And then after this, bunch of indecision. Look at all these dojis: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dojis, spinning top, and just gaps, 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 right? So, and actually, if you look at the candlestick of last week, that's the biggest magnitude candlestick. Besides, well, one of the bigger ones, right? We have this one here, which is huge. We have these two, which are, but very, very strong candlestick nonetheless. I think that it'll begin to continue going in that direction, especially after it pulled back a bunch, especially after this strong, strong week. I would have thought that puts were ready for this week. The market decided otherwise. So big move out right underneath 105. So with this move, especially with the moving averages kind of carrying it, I think we can see 108 ish within the week if we continue up, right? If we continue with the move. Um, so that'll be my target. My target will be like 106. First target is 106, right? Just right here, right? More next week. And again, it's gonna be a short week. Whatever you buy for this week, just make sure you're ready to over. Yeah. Um, and I don't think it'll be a bad trend for us this week if we play in the money, right? Have a contract that's in the money that might might be the one for us. Let's 104s dollar. Five, 105. These are cheap. They're 80, 78. Right. And then obviously I'm an advocate for time. Or I'll probably keep price. The 105s for next week are dollar. I'll say $1.40. 105s, 1.4, and then the 12.2, 12.2 to 106 are trading at about $1. You could probably bid $1. You could probably bid $1 and get. Those are the ones that I'll be targeting for now. And then, I think that. Let me see. Do they have any things already back? Yeah, I mean, I would have to look around to see what if there's any other earnings at the end of going on specifically in that sector. Biotech is very volatile sector, and so that's why you don't see me really play much. I don't have a good winning streak with biotech, so I'm very careful when I play it. I'll only play it when I see. I'll only play it when I see full time frame continuity the way that we have now, like big strength into one side, right? Especially after a large consolidation. So this is just a nice setup. It just so happens to be in biotech. Just be careful. Buy some time and take profit. Don't stay. The next one that I have, which is a repeat of past couple of weeks, is Starbucks. Starbucks has just been nonstop for us. We so we were talking about it back when it was here at this level, right here, right before it kind of gapped up. And so it put in. Let's look at the monthly. On the monthly, we kind of formed this broadening top, and we still have a little bit of room before we get to it, right? But anyway, strong candle, indecision, right? 3 weeks of indecision. Inside bar on this one. We broke the inside bar so far in the month, and now we're just ramping up, right? Big, strong move up. If you look at the weekly, we had that consolidation, multi-week consolidation, a bunch of dojis, and we finally chose to go up, right? Especially on that earnings catalog. Dividend has already been paid out, and now we're continuing to move up. Now, last week's candle wasn't as strong as the previous weeks, and this is a similar thing in all of the market, right? The whole market pretty much looks where we have not the strongest magnitude candle on the weekly, but still continuing the direction, right? So things can go either way. If you look at the daily, we had that gap, which was the reason I liked it, and then it kind of continued to make that move. It hit the first target, it hit the second target, and then it pulled back a little. It found support on the 9-day moving average. That's an EMA. Yeah, that's a 9 EMA. So it pulled back to the 9 EMA and it found support, and then it kind of set itself up up here in this gap where it gapped up kind of previous price action. So this can really go in either direction. This can go in either direction. Zoom in on the daily. Right. That's your daily. So let me get rid of. Okay. Right. It can go in either direction. It can go up to fill, to try to retest the high here, these highs, and then that high, or it can come down to fill this gap, kind of retest the low, and so the play is going to be dependent on which direction it wants to go in. That's not, I'm not here to force it. It looks more dramatic on the daily than it is. Right? It looks way more dramatic. Break of 98.35 on 98.95, and we test 99.30. Break of the low, we test previous low, test previous low. if we don't hold this 9-day move, 95.70, right? Um, if we look at the intras, the 1 hour that I have here on my top right, uh, it kind of consolidated, gapped, and then pulled back hard, and then consolidated right at that previous area. So there is kind of a head and shoulders for me, right? You have the head or the shoulder here, you have the head here, and then you have a potential other shoulder here, right? Just at about the same level. So if it rejects, it's gonna fall down pretty hard and come back to test at 95 pretty quickly. Um, however, after gapping down and then making this move to come all the way back into the zone, right? Into this box right here, which after gapping down to come all the way back into this box real quick, right? That's very bullish. It fell out of the box and then buyers bought it right back up. Now, although I'll say it's low volume that they brought it back up, but they did bring it back up. Sellers didn't step in to push it down, right? And then you can see that the price, there's a bunch of sellers here in this area where that red line is. That's where all the volume is, and a bunch of sellers there, but you can see that we closed up above that line. That's a good sign. So I think I think it has more upside. I like Starbucks as a company, which is maybe why I'm so bullish on it, but I think it has more upside, and I think that we're good for like 100 calls, 99 calls. If it breaks to the upside, and I think we're good for like 96, 95 put. And again, I wouldn't marry this week's contract. And if you like it, just take note. 99 and 100 calls. The 100 calls too far out for this week. I think the 99 is good. I think the 98 is perfect, right? 98, 99. And for the puts, 97. Just play out the money. Play out the money. Don't go too crazy. Don't not complicate. Even when it comes down to test the low here, if it comes down to test the low of the day here, the 97 will still be at the money, right? It'll be probably like 90 something cents. You buy it and then let it. You pay a little bit more, but you want that security, right? So play just at the money. I think if you want to swing, maybe next week, depending on what it does. I think if it moves up, it'll be good for a swing. If it moves down, I think it'll be good for you, to be honest. Because look at this monthly; it's time for it to pull back. Right? But if you want to swing it, you can go one strikeout, go to 99s or 90. That's it. All right. So the next one is UPS. So again, we're gonna see a lot of the same names that we've seen the past couple of weeks, and that's because they've just been showing strength, right? And if you're gonna show strength and it's gonna continue to move, like why fight the current? Don't try to swim upstream. So UPS again, I'm not in love with the monthly setup, which is why I haven't really called it out. I haven't looked at it a lot too much. It did catch my attention last week, and it definitely has my attention this week because we have a 2 down, 2 down, 2 up candle, which is kind of a reversal pattern. So it depends on if we're going to continue. We really got to break this downtrend line first before we can continue. But one thing I like about it is, that's a nice strong reversal candle into previous resistance. Now we got to get back to this level. This is the level that we kind of got to get to. We can play it into this level, or we can let it break the resistance and then get into the level first before we play it. But I definitely got my eye on UPS. I think I love it for the way that it's moving. This, on good earnings, obviously. Now UPS, I had it. I think I had it loaded put mentally a couple weeks ago, and last week or 2 weeks ago, it invalidated it when it made this big move. Invalidated the bear flag, right? And now we're kind of sitting here at a point of indecision again, just like how the rest of the market looks. Right at the downtrend. So I want to see it break above this high, or I want to see it. I probably won't call anything right away. And I don't think you guys should jump into anything right away until you kind of see what it's doing. Let it form a setup first. I either want to see it. And now, so do we know if this pullback, if it pulled back to just retest the top of the trend line here, or if it was pulling back because the market pulled everything back, right? Who knows? Um, right, because everything looks the same. Everything kind of fell these 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, and then gapped up on Friday. So was that pullback on the market to kind of test previous resistance, or or is it just economics at that point, or is it who knows? Who knows? But we do have this bar. I want to see it break above the previous high. Really, I want to see it break the high of day, right? So let's go straight into right. So we have on the daily, we have kind of a cup of big, nice, big consolidation, right? Cup, big consolidation, move out of the consolidation, come back, retest some of these moving averages, and then bounce off of it, right? It tested the 9 and the 20, and it bounced. And then we have all the small moving averages crossing through the 50-day. This red line here is my 50 S, or sorry, that's my 50 EMA, and they're all crossing through it. That's a very bullish sign, right? So we came out to the 200 to the 100-day, and we fell off of it everywhere, right? All over the market. Tested the 200-day or the 100-day rather, put in a double top on the intradays, fell down, and now we're bouncing. So I want to see it above this line here at 179.23. And it's the same thing. This is the same exact setup as MRK, or sorry, Starbucks, where if it breaks up, buy calls. If it breaks down, buy puts, right? Because you have a nice gap to fill to the downside, but you also have a nice gap to fill back to the 100. And then if I were interested in playing UPS, again, I used to play. I remember when I first started trading, I would buy out the money as far as possible, just so I can capture those percent gains. And I still kind of play a little bit that way, especially with like SPX. But I find that when you're trading these equities in a volatile market, in a bear market especially, you want to buy as much security as you can, and that security either comes with buying, December, third week of December contracts, right? Which are not bad. The 185s for 283 not bad. The 180s for $5 not bad. But if you're gonna buy this week, buy right at the strike, right at the money, right on either side. If you're gonna buy next week, at that point you can probably, as long as we have the direction, you can probably go out. Look at how much OI is on this 180 call for next week. That's more than anything else on the chart. That's 15,154, more than any other open interest chart. Actually, I bet you can add all of the open interest up on the rest of the chart, on the rest of this option chain. So 180 for next week, 182 for next week. We'll probably ride the wave of that open interest. So I think people are bullish. I will continue riding UPS. Do you guys have anything that you want to look at? Otherwise, I have four more. Okay, I'm just gonna run through the next couple, and then if you guys have any, Macy. Next one's Macy. I'm not sure if Macy is quite ready yet. So if you look at the month, if you look at the monthly, uh, okay, if you look at the monthly, we kind of form this wedge, and we're testing the top of it, right? Um, we're breaking out above the previous highs. We have two back to back higher month so far, and we're above this pivot right here, big sell pressure right here. We're forming green candles and not red ones for the month, right? So that's good. If you look at the weekly, we had kind of a, let me flatten. We had kind of a cup with a handle with two back-to-back weeks of consolidation, three back-to-back weeks of consolidation. We finally broke out above that. This is what drew my eye to Macy weekly, breaking out above that consolidation. If we look at the daily, we're above the 200-day moving average on Macy with strength, right? Right, the 200 days, that black line right there. And we tested it, failed, fell hard, really hard, and kind of got back up into it, tested it, failed. Tried it, we were above it one day, we got underneath it, and the positive earnings actually put us, on the right side of the 200 days. So big move up, pulling back a little bit. Let's see what it does, right? If we fail below Put it here. If we do it underneath there, we fall underneath that moving average there, we fall underneath that price there. We can come back to test this level here, and then below that level, have obviously the support, and below that level, we have that, and below that level, gap. So lots of potential to the downside if we don't hold this current level. I'll play it right back to the 200-day moving average. Right, that'll be pretty much 2 days. Let it hit the 200-day, and then you can get out of your position. You can wait. Maybe it'll hold it. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, then you have there's way more pullback down to at least the 20-day, and then at least the price action. So I like it to the downside. Like it to the downside. However, if it does hold, if it does end up holding this support, and then it breaks above this point of control here, then we can easily come back and test some of these upside levels. And I haven't called Macy's used to be like a darling of mine. It kind of still is. I always watch it, but I haven't called anything for Macy's in a while because I don't want to play something that's like a $20 ticket. I want something that only one that I really play that's a $20 ticker is like right. X is like one of the few that I play that's that price. Because I want to see you make more money when you're up here in the 30s and the 40s because it takes less to move, less of a percent move on a day to move $1. And for options, you want these things to move $1, $2, $10, $20, right? You don't want 20 cents, 30 cents, dollar of velocity. So that's why I haven't really been. I watched this whole move, but I just haven't been really enthusiastic about it because it's so cheap. I want to see it above $25. So I probably won't call anything on it now. I really just want to see it above this level before we can start playing it again because then we can benefit. Right? Otherwise, you can just buy a bunch of time on this. Again, we saw that Walmart is doing well. Macy's is doing well. They're doing well based off of earnings. So that means that sector, the retail sector, is doing well. People are spending now. Obviously, interest rates have declined. Right, the Fed rate has declined this past week, past month rather, for CPI. PPI numbers are down. Unemployment or labor numbers are doing better. Right, things are looking a little bit better for now. Right, that going into the holiday season, there's a bunch of hiring. So we have the hiring kind of seasonality that is going to fight all of these tech companies laying off their employees. So that's good, right? Things are kind of resetting a little bit, but these are sectors that look like they're going to benefit off the current economic climate. Macy's, right? Costco, Walmart, DKS, which I think is on my list, right? So I like it. Let's see. And again, I might not see anything with it, but if you want to buy some time, I mean, it's super cheap. The 23 calls for December 16th are $1. Let me actually put that on the chart so we don't. It's $1. It's $1 for a month, right? So December 16th, 23 calls, $1. Good. Buy a 5-pack, 10-pack, whatever. And just hold it. I mean, why not? Right? Let it take out the high right there. It'll be in the money by the time you blink, and then you have a couple of weeks on it. I would just buy that. If it falls, and it doesn't hold that support, I would buy the 22, the weekly 22. Right, the weekly 22 puts. That'll be your play if it falls. Weekly 22, it'll be in the money immediately, and then you can kind of ride that wave down. Maybe buy 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever, how many, 4 or 2, right? And then I would buy more than one on this. I would take profit once it breaks, and then maybe leave one runner and see how far that runner can out to the rest. If we break this, this area right here, this 2207, which is right where this yesterday's or Thursday's level of control is, then we can easily, I think, come down and test this 200-day right here at $21. So that'll be a nice move for your Macy. So if you want to do weeklies, you do it at like whatever 45 cents. 45 cents. On next week, just play out the money. 22, 22 and a half, right? 22 on the put side, 22 also. 12, 2 puts. 80 cents, 80 cents, 80 cents. All right, so be careful driving, Terry. So, and if you have anything you wanna, we could talk it. Some of these things you don't have to. You can close your eyes and imagine. The next one that I have is Moderna. Moderna 1 month chart. So we fell hard, right? The whole market fell hard. And then we kind of went. Moderna went sideways a bunch. Um, as the market's making lower highs and lower lows, Moderna's also doing the same thing, but not as drastically. It actually held. It actually made a higher low on these 2 months compared to this month, right? This month the low was the low of June was 115.61, and the low of September and it was okay. It's lower. It's lower, but it's not much lower. The low of June was 115.61. The low of September was 115.03. The low of October was 115.33. Higher low there, and then obviously the low of this month is November 135.09. So higher low. So we formed higher lows on the monthly so far, and I mean I'm not gonna crazy be like, oh, we're bullish now, but what I'll say is we did break that little downtrend that we had there. Now maybe I drew it wrong. Maybe it's really and I'll leave that channel there, but maybe it's really this. It's maybe it's a broadening formation like that, right? It could be that. It could easily be that. Um, could easily broadening formation, and regardless of what it is, whether it's a channel that we broke to the upside, or it's a broadening formation that price is currently at more than 50% on the top of it, right towards the top. It's bullish either way for now, for this month and for this. Uh, so um, so what I'm seeing is, and obviously, if you look at the weekly, you see where I said, hey, we're gonna probably sell off a little bit. And we did. We broke through that first one. We got to the second one, and we kind of sold off a little bit. A second zone, but we're continuing the two ups every week since the inside week. We broke out and broke the range of the high of the previous week, 4 weeks back to back. Okay, so now we got to try to break them. We did it on this month. Let's see if we could do it on this month too, right? Let's see if we could break out and try to test the highs at the top of this megaphone pattern. Um, so I'm loving it because we're above this level here. We're above that level where we had previous consolidation. We're actually right above it, like pennies above it. So it just needs to hold where it's at now. But if we look at the daily, if we look at the daily, you know, that bottom red zone, this one here, is where that was a tough spot to kind of get a bunch of times. Um, and so we're in between these two zones. We're holding this bottom zone as support right now, and and it's kind of I kind of see like a bull flag. There's also kind of like cup and handle going on here, right? Here's your cup. There's your handle right there. Starting to form. And so really, you need to take out this high of this week in order for it to really show strength. We had 3 back-to-back red days that held the range, but still, that's a lot of sell pressure. I don't know. Let me see the volume. Yeah, I mean, not we had those 3 selling days, but not a lot of people stepped in. I mean, there's a bunch of sellers on this day, on Wednesday, but nothing crazy. Thursday, Friday, So if it can hold that bottom zone as support, then I can easily see us getting to 200, like super easily, right? Um, we've pretty much we're using this price action now to kind of fill this gap price right here, from August, and so it really needs to reclaim the high, or the price action of Wednesday, which is this day. It needs to get back to kind of these levels here. So let me go ahead and just mark it up. Moderna, the first level that I kind of wanted to reclaim is the 185.42 level. From there, I wanted to get above the resistance levels here at 187.10, and then from there, I can say, let's take out the highs of the week, to try to go up. Now, Moderna is one that looks like it looks opposite to the other charts because it looks like it's ready to fall hard, right? We have this downtrend, this rising support level. I'm gonna leave it right there, right? Rising support level that is barely holding. Lots of volume came in on that very last red candle. Um, Barely holding that level there. So if it does fall, I think we can come back to 179 level. That'll be a nice $2 move to the downside, or dollar 50 move to the downside. To find support at this volume profile right here, from last week, 14th. It was a Tuesday, last Tuesday or something. Monday, last Monday. If it doesn't hold Monday's volume point of control, it can easily fall down, very easily fall down and come down to 170, 172. So I like Moderna for both sides, but I think that it can easily come down to see one, put money in our pocket down. So that'll be what I'm watching. I'm gonna watch the first level. I guess the riskiest entry on this, to the call side, would be 183.60. Be the absolute riskiest entry because we still have all these sellers over here and over, all these sellers up here at the top of the range that can easily push us down. If we fall, that'll be a nice downside. Nice play to. I think I'm biased to the downside for Moderna. Um, but again, so let's do. And this is, I know these contracts tend to be a little expensive, so let's just go ahead and stay with the next 11.25. The 180 puts are $4.55. 180 puts are $4.55. With Moderna, you could probably go a little bit out the money, like just a little bit on the weeklies. The 175s are 268. If we do break out above this line, the one that has the 185, we'll probably play the 190s, 185s and 190s ups, 1125, 1125, 185 call. Um, and again, this is a short week, so we have to be very fast with our profit. 185s are about $4. The 190s, $244. Um, so that'll be what I'll be watching for Moderna. Um, I wonder if they have any catalysts coming up. They have earnings in February, but I wonder if they have any, biotech. Again, biotech industry is like another industry that is an industry that I'm very wary of. You got to be in and out with it. Take your profit fast. You're gonna, a little piece of bad news in any part of the sector will take the whole sector down. So be quick with it. All right, the next one that I have. Okay, the next one that I have is after Moderna is Tesla. 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 Okay, so Tesla. so far the month. It's been a red month, obviously, for Tesla. There's this head and shoulders here. Is your shoulder? The head is up there. You have a shoulder right here. This is what the market, entire market. So this is the motivation for Tesla. Obviously, with Elon's acquisition of Twitter, it seems like he's been selling Tesla off and kind of fund the activities. So Tesla broke down on the monthly. That's Thursday's low. Okay. So Tesla broke, or sorry, last week's low. So Tesla broke down on the monthly, right? We broke this previous support level. And you see, we've been here before. We've wicked all the way down here, right? And buyers like to step in, but I don't know if they're gonna do it this. I don't know if they're gonna do it. So we broke that level of support, and we put in a 2 down on the month, which is just breaking the down, expanding the range to the downside on the month. We played it a couple weeks ago. We hit that 180. It was nice. On the 190 put, so it was really nice. And then we put in an inside week. Actually, let me see. Low was 177.12. The low here was 76. So we broke the low of the previous week just by 50 cents or something like that. But and then some buyers stepped in. But to me, this has all the energy of like an inside bar that's going to break down to the downside. Broke down a little bit, but we can really break down, especially with the way that the market bounced on Friday. So let's look at the daily. The daily chart, lots of volume came in on Friday. Now, I don't know if that's looking at it now. I see what it is. I was gonna say I don't know if that's buyers or sellers that brought all this extra volume in, but I like it. It's forming an H, right? There's your letter. There's your letter. H's are just essentially bear flags that break down, right? H break, fall pretty hard after. We're still within that broadening formation on Tesla weekly, and if we try to test some of the lower levels, that'll bring us right back to like 130, which is a wild level. And I mean, if you look all the way to the left on the weekly, you see that there's a bunch of that's where all of the consolidation was right before it started gapping crazy. So it wouldn't be insane for us to go back to kind of test that level. And if Tesla gets back to that 130, I'm gonna right. I think it's good level. Even if I don't like not full position, but just like add right. So Tesla under 180, I think is psych number 175 psych number, and there can really accelerate. So I'll be watching it for downside play. The buyers stepped in at the end of the day, and that's what brought all the volume back up. See all this volume that came in on that buying candle, right? But Tesla's been showing crazy weakness. You know, like we'll have like a little tiny red day in SPY, and Tesla's falling to the floor, can barely stand up, right? So, Tesla's a perfect candidate for downside. Has your flag? It has like a bear flag right Friday. So I just hope that it waits for us to enter on Monday. Okay? See what the market does. I don't know. Typically during Thanksgiving, I always forget what the market does during that week. How does it look, right? I think we might have a strong day, but we might have choppy price action within the week. I'm not quite sure. I don't have a best brief for it. If you want to go ahead and look at what it did last year and the year before. Some of these holidays affect the market in weird ways because like the people who are investing, who have big money to kind of sway the markets, they're not the ones that participate in Black Friday, right? All spade is spade. And so it's not like they're taking money out of the market to go buy some TVs for half off. They might, they might. I don't think that's. So I don't know if we're gonna get like a downside catalyst, cash coming out of the market to go buy some TV. Right? I don't see. So, but we'll see. We play what's in front of us. Tesla's perfect for the downside. I don't know. I mean, I would probably play as close to the money as possible with Tesla. As close as possible, right? Weeklies, I would probably play like the 175s, nice round number. with 40,000 in volume and 5,785 in open interest. Under that is the 170 with $32,000 32,000 in volume and 8,100 open interest. So the 175 is in the 170. I would probably, but whatever you see, whatever you're more comfortable with. I like the put side to this. When you see me call the put play, you know the vibe. Thing is gonna go down pretty hard. It would just, again, it just bounced to give us more potential to the downside. I wish we would have loaded on this candle here, but I took my eyes off it because that's Tesla. The next one that I have just 5, 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 5 more. Next one is Coinbase. These will be quick though. I feel like I've been saying that. I've been saying that the whole time. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick, and I take the entire day. Right? So on the monthly, it's showing a bunch of consolidation. You know, obviously big moves down, consolidation, indecision, and now we're showing full strength breakdown with a lot of volume. Actually, where the hell is that? Hold on, because I'm looking. There was a coin lotto that I. There's one that's we're getting like getting hammered. Oh, it expired. 40. Okay, expired. Well, so I remember like seeing some crazy flow. I think it was that one. It was a coin 40 put that a bunch of flow kind of flew into. Now we did get the red days, um, and then you have to like with Coinbase. I realize you have to be really patient because you can get it to pay you in both directions, but it's just right now it's choosing down. Um, last time it was at this level, it bounced, right? And I mean, looking at the weekly, right, and looking at the daily, looking at the day. On the month, it kind of bounced at this level in the past two. I just don't know if it's going to do it again. I think, especially with everything that's going on in the market, crypto, and for FTX, I think that this is perfect for this to come down a little bit more. The weekly obviously looks very bearish as well. So we have the monthly looking bearish, the weekly looking bearish. We have this kind of uptrend that was broken, right? Uptrend was broken a couple weeks ago, and rather the resistance line was broken, and then on the daily we have same thing as Tesla, kind of that H pattern that's forming. We did form a lower low on Friday, lower to relative to the past couple of weeks, but I think there's more to the downside. I'm probably going to target the 40 if we don't bounce, right? If we don't bounce, the level below this where we kind of gapped up is 44.15, where buyer stepped in, right, and below that 40.83. So I really want to see what it does at these levels. If it gets down to 40.83 and no buyer step in, it'll fall really, really hard. So watch the downside again, and if we break out, kind of bounce from this level, I just want to take it above the high of the day. I wouldn't even touch it until it's above the high of the day, where it can kind of fill some of these gaps here. Right? Uh, so I'm not gonna call anything on it now. Maybe the 40 puts if you want to get in early, or the 50 call if you want to get in early. Right, 50 call, play it into the trend line and see what it does at the previous. Right, you can play the 40 in anticipation of the breakdown. Right, you got your little bear flag right there. Right, flag H on the monthly, H on the weekly, H on the daily. Right, it undid this entire big green candle. It took a few days, but it undid it, and now it can break down that rising support, break down this horizontal support, test this horizontal support where previous buyers stepped in. Underneath this, it can go down really, really hard. And it can do it in one day. It can do it in one candle. So otherwise, above moving above this moving average on a 1 hour. Gets bullish at the 50. I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't go too far. But Coinbase is nice. I have it. I have it ready for the downside. Next one I have is Pepsi. I have three more. Pepsi. Pepsi failed a couple weeks ago when I called it. I called the 180 calls. It failed. I mean, it gave us profit like that instant, and then it just failed immediately. Right. So if you didn't take it right away, then sold either at a loss or break even or back. Um. So what I like about it is big bullish engulfing bar, right? Engulfing all this price and making a new high. And then seller stepped in. So far this month, we put in a doji. Buyers and sellers are fighting. The real reason I like this is because it has a kind of a triple tap vibe. This level here, you got tap, tap, the third tap with a little bit of consolidation, which is like a JCat special. So, I'll be watching it. I don't think I'm gonna call anything right away just because I know the nature of it now. To the low of the, but I'll be watching it. I want to see it kind of show strength into this resistance line again before I'll call anything because I don't want us to get trapped. We did double bottom on a daily on the 176.80 line, also the 175.60 line for those really strong wiki days. Kind of forming a W. It's kind of in a channel right now, so I just want to see it above. Really, I want to see it. I want to see it above this level. Once it's firmly trading, and by firmly I mean like stomping its feet down 10 toes. Okay, this is good support. Let's continue to move up, right? So I want to see it above and then kind of basically I want to see it form one of these volume profiles above that level, right? Or I can get confident. Now we can go for the 185. So I'm hoping it'll happen this week, especially with the strength in the retail sector, XLP, as Jake mentioned, right? As long as we have strength in those sectors, market overall, and I think that XLP has a nice gap. I don't have a good track record. I played it twice and both times I lost. Maybe third time's the charm, right? That's Pepsi, and I'll be targeting the 185 calls. I'll be targeting 185. So if you see that I'm calling out 185, you know immediately broke above my alert. Setting firm footing above this 182.92 level, and ready to continue. The next one I have is DKS, which is again Dick's Sporting Goods, which is another consumer brand. This still applies. Stay as close as possible to the money. Always applies with DKS. If we look at the monthly, um, kind of a inverse head and shoulders, cup and handle kind of vibe. We fell, but then buyers stepped back in to bring us back into the range. Lots of buying pressure down here. I like charts I look like this because the hammer, nice big. This is I look for this exact same pattern on SPX. The 2 minute, 3 minute. So I love this pattern here. So monthly, let me see, 118. Okay, so we haven't taken out the high yet, but we definitely took out the low. We can easily take out the high and make this a bullish engulfing. And but I'll be watching it. I want to see it above this level here, 116. There, I wouldn't touch it underneath it just because it does get a little risky. Actually, that's a week. That's fine. So I want to see it above 160, 116, whatever level this is, 60 on the weekly. But that being said, this week I think we have a good play, especially since it has been holding above the 200 there all this time. I think that it's just been consolidating because of that 200. It's like one of the few that's above it. It fell really, really hard, and then buyer stepped in with a bullish engulf. right? It fell really hard, and then buyers stepped in on that bullish engulfing with not that much volume, right? But they stepped in and then they gapped. It has earnings on the 22nd, which is Tuesday. So maybe we have one day. What's Tuesday morning? Okay, so we have a day trade here. We have a day trade here, or otherwise we have a swing that will take us out. Um, Depending on where it opens at tomorrow, we'll discuss whether it's something a swing or something that we're gonna just day trade. Most likely there'll be a tomorrow, more than likely, right? Okay, so and then I'll be targeting like I like the fact that like the moving averages are consolidated on this. The 50, what numbers? 20 and the 50 I think are. My blue and my red, 20 and 50 daily. Yeah, 20 and 50. They're right on top of each other. They've been on top of each other for a while, right? So if DKS can recapture that 50 day, which is our red line at 110.25, then we have kind of once it's above that, I think we can go right back up within a few days. Only thing that's gonna mess us up is that earnings. Right? That earnings is really gonna mess us up, whether it's because at that point you're gambling. And I don't like to gamble. So I'll probably end up buying, looking for something, and earnings is a little more complicated because you have to look all around and see what the overall sentiment is. Now, again, with like for example, Macy's beat earnings. What was the other one? Walmart beat earnings. Right? Did Costco report yet? No, Costco reports soon. So DKS reports, and they're kind of in the same realm as Walmart and Macy's. Obviously, more niche than Walmart, and obviously in a different market than Macy's. But I think that overall, within the same realm, right? Um, and then, so some things to consider. Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in October. We're in November, October, September. Right? September. All of the earnings that occurred right before back to school weren't captured in the last earnings report. Right? They weren't captured in the earnings report of August. Right? Because only like Florida and like some of the southern states start in August. The East Coast up here, up north, we start school in September. So back to school, sports, sneakers, gym clothes, uh, people just, the basketball season starting back up, hockey starting back up, baseball, even though baseball season is ending, but ended. Still, like those are all things. People are spending money. People are going to buy, especially like people are buying gear to go support their teams. People are buying gear for their kids to play. People are buying gear for them to play, right? Some of these kids are growing. Kids grow fast, so they're outgrowing. So they're constantly. I think that this is just something that might benefit from the current economic environment, especially with catalyst like all these new seasons starting and back to school. I think that this is a good play for back to school. So I'll be playing it to the upside. It'll be just a matter of finding a good contract out a little further out, maybe in December. And DKS doesn't have an expected move yet. It'll have one tomorrow. So I'll share that with you all when I see it. Maybe that 150. A little pricey. Yeah, it's all the same price. I'd rather just if I'm gonna spend $5 here. I'd rather just buy a couple. Those 113 look okay. It's just the thing with Dixon. There's usually not a lot of volume. People don't really trade it. So but when it moves really, really well. So I like it. I'll be looking for something that has a little bit more time. We'll call some weeklies and then we'll find something that uh see if we can make ECAS might be one of the few earnings that I actually not my style at all, but I might have to. All right, so love is my second to last one. Then we got one more. Love breaking up above the previous month high. Right, simple. On the weekly, we have an inside week, which is why I like it. Low of this week was 36.79. High was 39.26. Lows and highs of this past week are smaller, right? So we have a potential obviously when the range contracts, then the range expands after, right? So that's what look. What's up? You there? Maybe some mommy. Some mommy we're gonna leave. She told you that we okay. Bye. Bye. Sorry. So range expansion, range contraction leads to range expansion. The range doesn't just continually contract. Right? It gets to a point where it's large range consolidation, and then big range up or big range down. So that's why I love this setup on love, right? I love the setup on love, no pun. And based on the 1, 2, 3, 4, based on the excuse me, inside bar, so range contraction, breakout, inside bar, breakout, two up, two up, two up, two up candle. I think we have breakouts. The reason why we kind of fell hard here or stopped the momentum here, market wide, right? Same thing on SPX, same thing on pretty much every other ticket that we looked at today. But also we reached this level of resistance here where a bunch of sellers stepped on the bullish, bearish engulf. So we're just here trying to undo some of this selling pressure. I think that is going to go. It's going to fly. The reason why I think it's going to fly is because we got the golden cross on the moving averages. Let me get rid of the volume. We got the golden cross on the moving averages. The 200 days right there. 20 days crossing through the 50 and the 100. And then we're channeling down, but we're at the top of the channel. At that same kind of little gap, top side. We filled this gap here. So lots of gaps are filled. I want to see it, risky entry would be above the day of high of Friday. And then the target will be 38.97, which is just probably do it in one day. And then we break above this structure here, which is the previous high of the week, to try to target this 200 day. That's the target. I don't know what's going to happen at this. I do not know. So that's what we have to kind of look out for. So you can buy, and then obviously good earnings, good catalyst. But watch out for other airlines that are reporting potentially this week. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the earnings calendar yet. I want to see it above these levels so it can show strength right in the middle of the channel. It can go anyway, but I want it up. And if it does come down, I want to see it find support on the. That's love. And then the last one that I have is Dollar General. And again, Dollar General is something that might be recession proof, right? While the rest of the market was going down, this thing was going up the whole time. The market's going down, and Dollar General was like, nope, right? So, very, very bullish, super duper bullish. Inside month so far, we're back at a level of previous resistance. We've never really left that level, to be honest with you. Right? We never really left that level, but we're inside month, which you're not supposed to really trade inside, but I think this looks super bullish to me. Again, this is what I think I mentioned it on 6. Yeah. So DKS like has that same pattern that I like on SPY, where it kind of falls hard, or sorry, SPX kind of falls hard and wires general has that same pattern where it falls hard and then buyers step in, and then it does this, right? So this is like weeks. This is what I'm looking for a candle like follow through candle after buyers, right? So now we have the weekly where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tight weeks, very tight weeks. We had a channel on top of that, but very, very tight weeks, and then boom, big move. Big move, pulled back hard, held, and now we're undoing the move, the downside. We have a 2 up week here, and Now we're fully within the range of this candle. We're gonna try to break that previous. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see it break above last week, break above this week. These levels are all right on top of each other. Really strong move out of that to try to take out this high over here. Right, these levels are all on top of each other, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a couple dojis up here, right? But looking at the daily, very, very strong move right in that 20-day moving average. Even with the red days, it still forms higher lows on the red days. And then we kind of have like a higher, higher low, cup and handle, all kinds of stuff. It's just very bullish to me, especially with all of these buyers stepping in on Friday. All these buyers stepping in on Friday. So I see more upside to it. I'll probably pay like the 270s. DG is I think is another expensive. Oh no, it's not expensive at all. DKS. All right, so you can play at the money. 260. 260 calls for $2.25, 30 cents. The setup that I liked about DG was the weekly cup. There's your cup. Play the 260s. It's pretty safe. Maybe by a couple weeks. 260 I would say is really safe just because we're $2.30 out. And if you want next week, 265s are probably good. Tell you how expensive. Number 16th, maybe the 270s, mid $5. You might get filled or look a little pullback. Or if you really like it, you could just buy the 260s, $9. I like it to the upside. I like it a lot. Do they have earnings? 1st of December. In the morning. So you could buy next week's and play the run up, right? Maybe that's the play. Buy next week's and play the run up. Buy next week's 265 or 270. Play the run up. You want to play at the money, play 2. If you want this week, 260. I would not go further than. I honestly wouldn't go. I wouldn't touch the 265s. Like this is like gambling, right? The 262s are much safer. The 260s are probably the only one I would definitely, without a question. So that's it, guys. You guys have anything you want to look at? What? Actually, I'll be back pretty early today. So if you guys have anything that you want to look at, let me just. Yeah. If you guys have anything that you want to look at, any charts that you want to look at, anything that you're in that you want to talk about, go ahead and just add me. Put it in any of the rooms and just tag me, and I'll take a look later on this afternoon when we get back. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for being on this call. I see a lot of the same names as always, and I love you guys. And I'm hoping that this is beneficial to you. That you're not only making money from this, but also learning how I see things to help you kind of see things. Help you become a better trader. Help you become a better earner for your family, right, and for yourself. So hopefully it's all working out, and I know that it will in the end, as long as you put the consistent effort, which all of you are. I see your names all the time, and I love it. So thank you guys, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Anytime. Have a good Sunday.